Hello and welcome, friends. We are back for our third episode of Almost a Music Podcast. I'm here with Channa. We should work on a different, tagline, but we'll get there. So today is a very special one because it's very an intuitive call for us to do this early on. We had to get it out of the way. But we're gonna be doing a deep dive of the Maine, one of our favorite bands. So if you guys have heard of them, we will get more on that later. Here's Chana, and we'll be going through a bunch of different stuff, including discussing their most recent album, which is very, very phenomenal. So yeah, Chana, you wanna give a brief introduction of the
Yeah,
pod?
yes. Hi, Meg. I think we're talking after some time from our previous episode, so nice to talk to you again.
Yes.
Uh, so, uh, so I think we knew that when we started this podcast, we are actually going to do an episode on the main. That was that was evident that it's going to happen someday. So, and it's so I think timely that Maine actually released their latest album last week. So I think it's somehow things just align. Yeah. So just this. Yeah. So as we always say, the almost music podcast is just how this started. Is that me and Meg joined? I mean, we got connected through Clubhouse, and then we thought, and then we talk about, and then we realized that we have similar interest in music, and we have been to the same event. So then we thought of maybe we should create a podcast together, and we just didn't want it to be just it's just talking about music, but we want it to be more personal, more intimate, and more spiritual because both of us are really into that sort of area. So that's how this started, and I think Meg, going back to the main. Um, I remember that when we first sort of got connected, I went to your Facebook, and I think I saw the first thing I noticed on the Facebook was that you had some photos about the main show. So that's how I thought, oh, this person looks interesting because I think he has great taste.
It was very telling that I had a really like good inclination with this band, but only the few would know. Like when you know, you know. Yeah, it's funny. Like I think my Facebook banner for like years now is Ken Kennedy's picture with the fan like on a concert. I forget like which, if that was an original photo or what, but it's been there for a while. So I would say that the main really was one of the few bands that I actually grew up with, like with all the releases that they've had, with the concerts, with the type of concerts like from mall shows, from just the unpaid, just buy an album mall show and or free shows, to paid concerts, and from ranging from like different arenas, could be like from QC to when they had like a huge show in I forgot where, I think Moa Arena, until they have like um mini shows with Bazooka Rock. So I'm sure we will get to that later, but yeah, my one of the few bands that really stood out with me was the main, not just because of their music, but with who they are as a band, like them as individuals. I would say like I feel like they're sort of they're sort of my best friends. So I'm kidding. No, but really it felt that way because how they treat their fans, like more than just fans. They're like what Pat would say, it's the record label, which is very heartwarming. I'm sure you have like your say on how early on or how and when did you discover this band, Chana?
Yeah, so first I thought that I heard about this band for a long time, but I was kind of lazy to check them out. I knew that and I thought that it's a too young for me. Like, I thought it's a younger band and maybe it's not my thing. But uh, I did watch first time. I think watch them was I discovered them probably like somewhere like 2013 or 14 probably, around that time. But I had this sort of thing that, oh, the Maine. So maybe they're from the state of Maine, but they're not. They're actually from Arizona, right? They're Arizona. They're from Arizona, and as we were talking earlier before recording that, Arizona, the desert, and then the aliens, and so there's a lot of
Yes.
energy in that place. So I
Oh my
think
god.
that's probably something why this band is so awesome, right?
Yes. I feel like the place where they actually are from added so much character to the band, which I just realized like recently. It wasn't even that didn't came to me like it didn't dawn on me not until this most recent album. So I don't know how spiritually in touch they are and how they are in that space, but I feel like there's something about their last song in an album, and then there's this song called "What's Another Night on Mars." So I can't help but wonder, like, do they are they in touch with aliens? Are they in that realm? And there's something about the song for me from their most recent album of Face Towards the Sun. How I don't know, it's so surreal. I have no words to describe it, but it's so beautiful. That's it. Okay, like going back, how did you find their concerts? Are they like were you hooked all at once when you first heard them live, or was it like you just kept going and you were just no, I was just interested in seeing this band live and they're cool.
Yeah. So I think the first time I really got to know the band is that I saw, I think in one of the pulp shows, like in the merch booth, I saw the album Pioneer, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Pioneer album has this guy with a hipster beard, and the
Yeah.
like that's the first time I saw that. Oh wow, a beard can be so cool. Maybe that's that's what really sort of got me to have a beard now. So maybe that's probably where the
Wow.
idea came. And
Wow.
then yeah, and then that album, that's the one first album that I bought, and then but I think the first song that really it's actually their earliest song, Into Your Arms. That's actually the song that
Mm-hmm.
I really first remember, and I felt that's a really good song.
Right.
And then I started going to the Bazooka Rocks events. I think starting like 2015, I wanted to like go and experience that this. And I mean, sort of, I thought, why don't I just go and uh, just see these new bands, just not just getting just stuck to the old bands, right? It's there's no point like stuck in nostalgia forever, right? So I thought of let's go and explore this new band. And then I think the first show was the Bazooka Rocks event, Pop Punk Weekend. I think they had 2017, where they had 2-day event,
Yeah.
and on the second day it was the main, and we had like meet and greet. I think they met everybody that who came to the show, right? So we had
Mm-hmm.
meet and greet with them. That was the first show. I was really surprised with that show, and as I said, like I saw that transformation from them. Like beginning, they were like very young uh, band, but now at by 2017 they were so established, and so they have grown up a lot, and
Yeah.
I really felt that they were very established musicians, and the show was so amazing. I
Mm-hmm.
also see that the main shows, it's not the music, the way they put out the show, all the screens they are going to have, that really brings out like emotions. And I mean it's a whole, it's like a party, but it's like a whole experience, right?
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah.
Meg, how did you discover the,
Yeah. I actually don't remember specifically how I listened to one of their songs. Must be from like a mix show of a music video. But I remember there was this. It was at this time where LimeWire was still existing, and we were still downloading torrents from different bands. And I remember downloading Can't Stop Won't Stop. I don't know how, but then a few years after, I think my first show with them was an Ayala Mall show where they would guest like for free these bands and just buy. Not sure if we just have to buy an album, and we get a free pass, both a meet and greet pass and a show pass. So that started. That was the first show, I think, that was in Alabang Town Center. I'm from the south, so I first watched them live there. And when they kept coming back, like they really loved Manila for sure, and they evolved to doing concerts, solo concerts, until they've gone with Pulp for Bazooka Rocks, and they would always guest on RX. And I remember I was part of 8123 PH. There were three of us. Ivy, if you're listening, and Kat. We're part of 8123. And when we knew that they were coming, we wanted to surprise them and raise signs of 8123 means everything to us. So that was the song of, I think, we all roll along. So we organized that. So that's one of my favorite moments of the main two. But yeah, the first three ones was just the mall shows. I wasn't there during Pioneer, but I think you were, right? You went to the Pioneer show in the somewhere in the north, in Skydome.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you said something interesting because they started as a band like that that would just play in malls and
Yes.
like do free shows for the fans, and then eventually they became like front act for a festivals, right? So they became
Yes.
so huge, and then they started having this following of set of bands that followed them with them, like the this century, Rocket to the Moon, and all this, that which basically created that 8123 sort of tour, right?
Yes.
A group of bands. Um, yeah, so it's really exciting how we discovered. I just want to reset the room. We see Kim has joined the audience. Hi, Kim. If you want
Hi.
to come on stage and talk about about the main, you can come. Please raise your hand. We'll bring you over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think I also want to ask Meg one thing that I would like to talk about. So uh, let's talk about Maine. How Maine is from Tempe, Arizona,
Yep.
and they were formed in 2007, and they had their first album in 2008, which you mentioned that you illegally downloaded the Can't
Yeah.
Stop Won't Stop. Uh, so the members of the main is John O'Callaghan on vocals, and he does piano and rhythm guitar as well.
Yep.
We got Jared Monaco. Um, sorry, man.
We have Pat for the drums
Yeah, Pat
and
Kirk on
Eric.
drums, Garrett Nicholson on bass, and Kennedy Brook
Yep.
on guitar. Uh,
Yep.
I, I think I want to ask you, and then we'll go to Kim. Like, who is your favorite main
Oh
member?
my god. It's like choosing a favorite
Wow.
child. No, but um for me, Pat has a really special place in my heart. Pat is so special. Um so I'm just gonna share a really quick story, or um backstory of uh Pat. So he's always been the one that's super like funnily hands on, like very much hands on with the fans. Not that the others aren't, like they're just as, very good with their interactions with their fans. But Pat is like so special. I don't know what's with Pat, but if you're listening, Pat, we love you so much. But um, I remember she had like a niece named Sofia, and I was still doing designing work for my old brand called Banfields Manila, and I made a specific sticker to give to Sofia, to give to her niece, and then it had like the sticker had a statement called hello, my name is the niece of the band called the Main's drummer, like something related to Pat. Then I gave him, it was just a tiny sticker. I think it was like five sets of designs of like a name tag of different colors. And I remember meeting the band, and I gave the gift to Pat, and I said, "Hey Pat, this is for Sofia." I don't know why I I was giving a gift to her niece, but I knew how much she loved her niece, so I was like, "Oh, might as well just give something." And then, when they came back from that tour, Pat posted a photo on Instagram. I don't know what year this was. Not sure if it was like 2018 or 2017, but along those before 2019. And then Pat posted a photo of Sofia wearing that name tag. Then I was like, oh my gosh, Pat, what the you remembered, you brought it home and you gave it to your niece, and that's so, I don't know, they're a very thoughtful band, and like what you said a while ago, of every show really brings like a different experience, and I feel like for every show takes me to a whole different era. And maybe later we can discuss how
Yeah,
these bands have evolved throughout the years, and like the the specific, I don't know, like state of where they are in their lives kind of translates on how they are on stage, which is so beautiful. It's so raw, and how much they just love the audience. I mean, they love the fans. So yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hi, my
So
hi
yeah,
Kim.
yeah. Hi, Kim. Yeah, before I
That's such
like,
a sorry. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
such a cute story, Meg. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah.
yeah. So Kim, yeah. Before I share who's my favorite member, Kim, can you tell us like how do you discover the main, and then also mention who's your favorite member?
I actually discovered the Maine through Meggy because during that time it was the same era as the 1975. So I was a big fan of that band, and I would go to concerts with Meggy, and then she would just like tell me where she's going next, like the main concerts all the time. And I would get really curious, so I would look at their stuff, and they remind me a lot of my favorite band, the 1975. I don't have a favorite band member because the thing about me, when I listen to music, I don't really pay much attention to, I don't know, the background. I just listen to the music, like put it on Spotify. So yeah. Who's your favorite, Chana?
I think the main won't be main without John, right? So
Mm.
it's really big part of main signature, John's voice, and you know that persona, because he's like the elder brother of the band, right? Like he's
Yeah. Yeah.
but I noticed that uh, Pat is very recognizable, and I sometimes feel like Pat is like the mascot of the band. Like everybody knows
Yeah.
him. Like
Yeah.
they know, oh, this is Maine when they see Pat. So yeah, I know, I noticed Pat is very kind, and I saw him like he's very much interacting with the fans in social media also, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what's Meg? If you can share a little bit about what are your like favorite songs from the main.
Yeah. So I guess this question is hard, but for every album a song really stands out, but like a kind of a trend for me would be their last song in their album. Like there's something about they're quite intentional about curating the the whole set, like in a way that you have to listen to it from front to back. Like I suggest whenever I would, um give give song suggestions or like album suggestions to my friends, I would tell them, if you happen to listen to this band and or this album, make sure to not go on shuffle and really appreciate the songs from front to back because it's curated that way. I guess like the certain album that really was meant to be listened in that way, like for me to consciously like remember that, it's Lovely Little Lonely. It's one of the albums that I really like. And I guess from Can't Stop, Won't Stop, it's Whoever She Is. It really evolves whenever, like, there I have a favorite, and then when they play this song live, it changes because, oh wow, this is a completely different experience, and like the riffs are quite of more enhanced whenever I hear it live. So my favorites changes, but yeah, I mean, I have from their most recent album, I've been looping Lips, Dirty Pretty Beautiful, and Face Towards the Sun. So just the same as We All Roll Along and Will All Be. And favorite, really all time favorite album too is Pioneer. Very a very pivotal album for the band, and it's the album that they first recorded on their own, I think, without any record label. So that's such an amazing thing for them. And like if I could just note how they were the type of band that never really rushed anything. Like they were moving through, okay, like we'll release an album this year, then tour this out, but like I never felt like they were after the fame. Never. Like in our like years of being a fan, I never felt like they were after that, which is so like very humbling. And it translates on how they treat their fans, on how they put out their merch, they put out their tickets, they put out the free meet and greets. Like if only possible, like they'd meet everyone for free, which I think they did that in one of their shows in Skydome with Pop, which is amazing. Like Pat never Pat talaga, but like Pat just he goes all the way, like with the fans. I can't even describe, and that never changed until now, especially now. The energy that they put out and how much they kept reinforcing of how thankful they are that they get to do this for the past years, like being their dream. It's so inspiring. I would say like this band is one of the first expanders and models that I look up to of really going after what you want in life and never stop, never get wavered. You can pause that, yeah, like it's on the picture, but like just keep at it with what you really want to do. And look at them now. I mean, they have they have like their their album is topping the charts all over. So super proud.
Yeah, actually, yeah, for me that yeah, Lovely Little Love Lonely is a great album also. I think Love and Drugs is on that, right?
Yeah.
It's a great album. American Candy is also good. I love Miles Away, and I think Misery is one of my favorite songs also from Pioneer.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Chana,
but like, yeah,
yeah. Did you ever had that phase of like there's this specific phase in your life and you just had that soundtrack of the main like on that background, and whenever you would go back to whenever you would remember that phase, like oh wow, or whenever you listen back to that album, it takes you back to that certain moment of your life or like phase in your life because you've kind of had that soundtrack of the main to go with it. Did you ever have that?
I think there's one specific experience I have is. their 2019 tour, the album You Are Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
that, as I said, the concert experience, going there and meeting them, and having, talking to John, and we were talking about like the shirt I was wearing, and he was like, we were chatting a lot on the on the meet and greet,
Yeah.
uh, and then the show itself is like, I really love that that message that you are okay, that where you are right now you're okay, so that you tell to yourself. I think I really experienced that in the gig, and I think that's really personally for me, that was a really great concert and really great message. And I think this happened like late 2019. I think it's probably gave me a bit of strength and courage to survive that, what happened next in 2020.
Yeah, yeah. That's so cool. I mean,
Yeah.
how these bands just, they're like your companions to a life phase, like through thick or thin. Like they just happen to speak to you, like that certain album or certain song really spoke to you, and you'll have that, like imprint of that band with that specific moment. So like for me, I remember, not sure if this was around the American Candy era. I remember going to Singapore to catch a show with my friends, and that was like the time of my life where it was kind of um go wild and free. It's funny, and we like, I just had to catch them there for some reason, and we got to attend like this pre-show at Ansiang Hill. If I remember correctly, it was like a radio show, and
Mm.
it was just an acoustic set of Jared and John playing, and we got to meet them after, and it was a very carefree time of my life, and I would remember that because I literally booked a flight to catch them there, which at the same time was like a really quick vacation too. But wow, I mean, looking at it, looking back now, parang I feel like for every phase, I would remember like an album of theirs. And when I traveled to this different country, I remember I kept playing Miles Away, which is so fitting with the situation. So yeah, it's powerful how music does that. And I'm curious about, have you gone into like phases of being the main fan? Like, let's say you wanted barricade, and as time went on, like as years went on, you wanted to take just any seat, like not necessarily in front, but just to watch them live from afar.
Yeah, I think I will answer that later, but I think let's ask Kim about what's her favorite main songs.
Okay.
Yeah, lately I have been listening to Lips a lot, the new
Oh
album.
yeah.
Yeah, girl, like it's become my summer anthem. And summer is over in the Philippines, but it makes me feel like it's summer. So they released this like a month ago, just in time when I got my first dose, and I was very hopeful about like traveling again, and it became like a happy summer song. So yeah, that's my current favorite, and I think that's my all-time favorite, the main song now, because it also reminds me of the 1975. Am I the only one hearing that, or do you guys hear it as well?
I hear it on the like riff, like
The riff, right? Yeah.
right, right,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Even the music video reminds me a lot of girls.
truly, yeah, it does.
It's a happy song, so that's cool.
Yeah, so this new album XOXO from Love and Anxiety in Real Time, I think it's so relevant to this, sort of getting out of pandemic album,
Mm-hmm.
right? Such a great because it's not a sad album. It's really some sort of, I feel it is a fun album, and it's really uh, I think it's really timely.
Yes.
Really?
And I agree with you that some of these songs like April 7th, Lips, Sticky, I think they're kind of becoming my favorites also,
Mhm.
because they're so good that how they, I think Meg, you pinpointed that earlier, that they have done that in a such a way that they how they created that album and the list of songs and the sequence is like amazing how they curated
Yes,
that. And that album is like, for me it was such a great thing that it happened now, that and it's really gives me hope, uh,
yes,
with the current situation.
absolutely. And there's something about the last song of every album that really curates and like summarizes the feel, but at the same time like gives you that sense of hope and community that they've always built around the band. Like we'll all be, and it's like they had their friends over to record like on the recording of the actual song, which is so beautiful. And now like with Face Towards the Sun, like it's such a, I I cannot get I will rave about this like for every to every person that I suggest the main to, but like it's such a, it's like a, it's like taking a breath. I mean, yeah,
Right.
it's very
uh,
nice.
Meg, you asked me about the going to the concert and going to the barricade. I have been to so many concerts and I've been in the barricade. I sometimes, like, so many shows, I'll be in the first person on the line and I'll be the first to go to the barricade. It's like, like Judas Priest or whatever that, you know, and I'll be able to push through with these big guys and still get in front. But on a main show, I don't think I never been able to do that, because one thing is the fans will be there so early. I won't be able to be even.
Yeah,
Not,
you're gonna need
yeah,
to battle Meggy and I.
yeah, and it's like there's no way that you're going to be in front for a main show. But I managed to do that on a May Day parade show, but for that I still had to go there so early.
Yeah, I feel like on the journey, it's a journey to get to the front to the barricade because you're gonna pass by like a huge wave, like literally your body will be moved in like a wave. Wow, I miss that. I miss that. Um, well, I guess for me, my phases were just when they were still doing mall shows. Like I wasn't too particular about getting the front row, standing in the front row. But like as my love grew for the band, I started taking that shotgun side of Kennedy's side. So I would just go to the, I try to go center and then left all the time because Kennedy is always on that side, and I love Ken, and he's so like such an amazing um persona, or like the way he just plays and the way he presents himself on stage, which is so nice. And yeah, so I would always take that left side. If I can't barricade, I'd always be on that side. And I remember if I would go with my friends, we would either be like, I'll bring them with me, or we would be scattered, or we would be together on the first few minutes of the show, and then we'll be like, oh my gosh, like where did my friend go? But we'll keep on keeping on, like we'll rock out with this show. So it's funny. And I guess like for the last few shows, like I didn't mind if I wasn't on the front row, just as long as I see like a pretty good view of the band. And I remember which was that show. Um, Not sure if that was the You Are Okay show in in QC, where we really had a good spot and the crowd wasn't a lot. So yeah, more time to really take in the experience, which was so different from before, where I would be like so like excited to be up on the front. But there was this funny, okay, I'll try to make this quick. There was this funny um time when I think this was Lovely Little Lonely era, and I was just I got tickets last minute with my friend Kat, and we were just staying behind. There was a separate area for the ones with the tickets that I bought, which is just I think Gen Ad lang. Then there's the one with on the other side of the Gen Ad, which is near. And I remember, not sure if it was the last song, and people were going wild. And what we did was, I think John did something, did a funny thing, and like taking off his shirt. Okay, there I said it. And then we were like, oh shit, we went off the literal barricade, and we ran towards, because like people were, there was just so much space in between, and they weren't minding people if they go off the gen ad to the next level, and they were like, yeah, let's just do this for the last song. It was such a fun song. So yeah.
Yeah. Kim, how about your experience?
The main experience was actually the first one was Bazooka Rocks, and I wasn't very familiar with the main at that time. I just got
Right.
free tickets from my dad, but that was yeah, that was fun. That was a good intro, and then I met Meggy, and then we went to mall shows, and yeah, that Meggy just took me on a roller coaster ride with the main. And that's my experience. My experience is very connected to Meggy.
Oh, well, I want to touch on, like, Kim, did we have like a pre-concert, post-concert ritual back then? Like, would we
I
meet before and eat before, or like after? Like, what goes around it? You want to share?
I think our ritual was to line up really early and then walk around to grab coffee.
Yes.
And then we'll just wait around the area the entire day so we
Yeah,
can have like the best view. Yeah. I miss those times. Those
I
were
know.
good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I also like the songs that I mean, of course, I love their songs, but I also love the covers they do. The main they did this awesome
Mhm.
cover, Watermelon Sugar, right? The Harry Styles song, and then also they did a cover of the Fallout Boys, Thank You for the Memories. I really love those covers. Have you guys
Yeah.
listened to that?
Yes. Um, I forget one of my favorites. I think it was a Halsey song, Halsey Halsey song, and yeah, the I like the Fall Out Boy cover too of Thanks for the Memories. I remember, Chana, you were telling me before of like your ruler, or like your guide, if it's a really good song, if it's just as good as the original one, or like it's so different from the original one, and you'd wonder like, how did they arrange that cover?
Yeah, it was a pretty good though, especially the Watermelon Sugar song was like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even thought that it's a cover until I realized that it was actually a cover.
Did it sound like Harry Styles?
I really don't know how it sounds, how Harry Styles sounds, because I never
Oh,
listened to him.
that's even funnier. You really thought it was their song. That's cute.
Yeah, and then this John actually do I the John has his solo work as John the Ghost, right? He goes as
Yes.
John the Ghost, and
Yeah.
I know this one song called Sour Grapes, which is also a great song.
Fave. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I don't know how to describe his persona with John the Ghost. Like, it's, sometimes I see it like it's quite comical, but at the same time, okay, like he's doing songs now. I mean, with his solo project, which is nice, and which brings me to his podcast. Was that, was it, what's the title of his podcast, Shana?
I
Not sure
actually
if it,
don't remember what his podcast is.
yeah, but not sure if it's like Ear Candy. And then I tried listening to I tried listening to an episode, and he, I think, was asking for submissions of fans or like people. Then he would read it over his episode, and um he would play like different songs from the fans' submission, and how that kind of made an impact in their lives. So he would share like a bit of his life updates, and all the things, all the funny comical things, which is so benta all the time. It's annoying. But and then he would share like just play 3 songs, I think, from for every episode, which is a cool thing for a band member to do and actually start a podcast. So
Yeah, I remember earlier they had like Pat and I think Pat and Jared was hosting 8123 podcast, but I think it's not happening anymore. They used to have it
mm,
before. Have you guys followed the other 8123 bands like Rocket to the Moon, which is Nick Santino, right? And then This Century. I actually saw This Century in one of the Bazooka events, and I think that was their farewell show. They didn't come back after that.
Kim, do you follow other bands than in the circle, like a Rocket to the Moon? I'm not sure if that was the show that first few mall shows he went to, where a Rocket to the Moon was there to play
Yeah,
before.
I remember A Rocket to the Moon, Tonight Alive, yan,
Mm.
them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if they're in the same group, but yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, Rocket to the Moon. I think the Nick Santino, who was the vocalist, I think he's part of 8123 tour,
yeah.
that label. And yeah, uh, so experiencing such a, Maine has been a great band and such an inspiration. I think make a big inspiration for this podcast as well. I think this is, as I said earlier, that I would probably not connect with you, like, if I didn't see your cover photo on your Facebook, right? Like,
Exactly. So we just want to thank the main. If you guys are listening, I'm kidding. No, but yeah, it's such a nice thing of how these bands, not just the main, like could bind different communities and different people to actually I've made like long time friends because of this band, and I have them to thank that for. So like just how my relationship with Kim is, with Ivy, with some of my like really good friends up to this point. So I'm sure, and starting this podcast, I mean, Jana, who would have known that we're both like solid the main and 8123 fans, right?
yeah, and I have the same thing, Meg. What I mentioned to you that we never met in a concert, although we were there. And Kim, I'm also surprised that we never met in a concert. We probably have been in the same concerts, right?
Yeah, we should just plan the next one. We should all just go together.
Yeah. So now that we're like sort of coming to the end of the show, so Kim, what's your message to Maine and also the fans of Maine?
Watching the main from 2012 Bazooka Rocks, where they were long-haired guys in a pop punk band rocking out
Right.
to songs with lyrics like fist fights turn into sex. And then now watching them grow from like young men to just honest to goodness rock and roll, it's it's nice. Thank you, the main, for the music. I hope you're listening.
Go
Yeah.
ahead
Yeah,
with your message.
I would just like to say, like, yeah, thanks for releasing that new album. I think we deserve an album like that with the current situation. And it's just give us a lot of hope for the future, and hope to see the main in the future again. And looking towards that, and really love the new songs. Great job, guys. Um, and Meg, you can share your message and we can close the show.
Okay. Yeah, just echoing what you guys have been, the messages that you guys just said, how beautiful just seeing them grow from girls do what they want and bringing people on stage like a fan and having us sing the lyrics to the song. Such an interactive band and such a free spirited band, and just to see that transform through the years, which I would see on every album, and how they really stuck to their dreams with their desires, and with the bond that they have built with their fans. Like it's a lifelong thing. Like we're not going anywhere in the main. So we're just so proud of you guys. What an amazing album, and this is their eighth um album, and not everyone would come to this point of releasing an eighth album with this much growth, with this much l- span of, like, different fans. And we're just very much touched, and we are very inspired with what you guys do. Like it's not just your music, but the relationships that you guys have forged with each and every one of us, like not just as a fan and a rock band, but a fan to a fan, and a fan to different communities that we have built around this. So thanks the main, and thank you Tim, thank you 8123 management. We want to thank, no, but like the guys, that's everyone behind this, making the record possible, making the record label like very independent, which is so amazing. So thank you guys. And for our listeners, if you guys have any topics, any questions for us that you wanna maybe suggest, feel free to message us at Almost a Music Podcast, and you can send us a message on our private Instagrams. We have Channa, that's dots in between, and I'm Meggy Caparas on Instagram. We welcome any suggestions, and Chana, any more promos.
I just want to say to everyone, in the spirit of Maine, you are okay. So,
Love that. Love that.
okay, guys, see you next time. So, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.